What is the origin of man? That is one of the most asked questions of all time. Everyone wants to know where they come from. It's hard to imagine that there was a time before humans roamed the earth, dominating every habitat and filling every niche with our presence. But it turns out that we only got here after millions of years of dramatic evolutionary changes. So let's explore the extraordinary tale of the emergence of humanity. The history of humankind is more than just a collection of battles, treaties, inventions, and discoveries. Our past is a testament to the struggles and triumphs of our ancestors. As they explored new territories, invented new tools, and survived countless natural disasters. But beyond these historical records, there is another story, one that takes us back to the very beginning. This is the story of how life on Earth began. Before we were here, the Earth was a very different place. Our planet formed about 4.5 billion years ago from a cloud of gas and dust. For millions of years, it was a hot, volatile world with frequent asteroid impacts. Then, almost unbelievably, life emerged. According to scientists, the first life forms were microscopic single-celled organisms that arose in the oceans around 3.5 billion years ago. These tiny creatures, which included bacteria and archaea, were the foundation upon which all subsequent life on Earth would be built. They were the first to harness the power of the sun through photosynthesis and the first to use oxygen for respiration. Through natural selection, they diversified, becoming larger, more complex, and better adapted to their environment. But for billions of years, life remained at this microscopic level until something remarkable happened. Around 600 million years ago, the first multicellular organisms appeared. These were creatures like jellyfish and sponges made up of many cells that had begun to specialize and work together. This was a major leap forward and paved the way for the evolution of more complex life forms such as plants, animals, and fungi. As the oceans teemed with new life, the Earth began to change again. Continents moved. New mountain ranges rose, and the climate shifted, yet life found a way to adapt and thrive in these changing conditions. One of the most significant events in the history of life was the so-called Cambrian explosion, which took place around 500 million years ago. During this relatively brief period, there was a sudden and dramatic increase in the diversity of life on Earth. Most of the major animal phyla that exist today appeared during the Cambrian explosion, including arthropods, mollusks, and vertebrates. This event was a pivotal moment in the history of life on Earth, laying the foundation for the complex ecosystems that followed. As life continued to evolve and diversify, new species migrated into new habitats. Around 360 million years ago, some of the first tetrapods, or four-legged vertebrates, made their way onto land. These creatures were the ancestors of today's amphibians and reptiles, and their ability to survive on land opened up a whole new world of possibilities for life on Earth. Over the next few million years, amphibians dominated the terrestrial environment. They were the first vertebrates to do so, and they thrived in a variety of habitats. Meanwhile, back in the oceans, fish were also evolving and diversifying. The first jawless fish appeared around 365 million years ago and was soon joined by sharks and ray-fin fish. These new fish were more efficient predators, and they helped to shape the ecology of the oceans during the Devonian period, which lasted from about 419 to 359 million years ago. The Devonian was truly a remarkable time in the history of life on Earth. It witnessed the rise of some of the first large predatory fish, the earliest known land-dwelling vertebrates, and the first insects with wings. But despite this incredible progress, life on Earth was still not ready for the emergence of humans. There was still a long way to go. The Carboniferous period, which lasted from about 359 to 299 million years ago, marked a significant turning point in the history of life on Earth. The name itself comes from the Greek words for coal and formation, and its name. So, because of the vast coal deposits that formed during this period due to the abundance of lush plant life, but it was also during the Carboniferous that the first reptiles appeared. These creatures were better suited to life on land than amphibians because they had scales to prevent them from drying out, and they were also more active during the day when temperatures were higher. The Permian period, which followed the Carboniferous, saw the rise of the first true mammals. These were small, shrew-like creatures that lived in the supercontinent of Pangaea. At the same time, the first conifers appeared and began to dominate the landscape. However, the Permian ended with the largest mass extinction in Earth's history, wiping out an estimated 70% of all species. The cause of this mass extinction is still debated, but it is believed to have been caused by a combination of factors, including volcanic eruptions and changes in sea level. As the Triassic began, life on Earth was forever changed. Only a relative handful of species survived the Permian mass extinction, and it would take millions of years for life to recover. But among the survivors were the ancestors of the dinosaurs. The Triassic was a time of great change and upheaval. The supercontinent of Pangaea broke apart, and new ocean currents and weather patterns emerged. These changes had a profound impact on the distribution and The first dinosaurs appeared in the Triassic and quickly became some of the largest and most impressive creatures on Earth. But they were not the only ones. The Triassic also saw the rise of the first true mammals. These were small proto-wombats that lived in the supercontinent of Pangaea. The Triassic ended with another mass extinction, although much less severe than the Permian, but it cleared the way for the Jurassic period. And here's where things get really interesting for us humans. The Jurassic was a time of giants. Dinosaurs roamed the Earth, some growing to incredible sizes. The Diplodocus, one of the most famous dinosaurs, lived during the Jurassic and reached lengths of over 26 meters. But the Jurassic was not only about dinosaurs. It was also a time of great change for life on land. The first birds appeared, evolving from small feathered dinosaurs. And on the other side of the spectrum, the first whales evolved from land-dwelling mammals. However, the end of the Jurassic brought a mass extinction that wiped out an estimated 75 to 80% of all species. The cause was likely a combination of factors, including a massive asteroid impact. This set the stage for the next period, the Cretaceous. In the beginning of the Cretaceous, flowering plants, also known as angiosperms, appeared and quickly diversified. This was a pivotal moment in the history of life on Earth, as the relationship between plants and pollinators led to the rapid spread of flowers across the globe. At the same time, mammals continued to diversify, although they were still relatively small creatures living in the shadow of the dinosaurs. But all of this would change at the end of the Cretaceous, when an asteroid about 10 kilometers wide slammed into the Earth near the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. This event, which occurred around 66 million years ago, is now widely believed to be the primary cause of the mass extinction that marked the end of the Cretaceous and the end of the dinosaurs. The impact triggered massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. It also threw huge amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and causing global temperatures to plummet. These drastic changes in climate and environment caused the extinction of an estimated 75% of all species on Earth, including all of the Nonavian dinosaurs. This event had a profound impact on the history of life on Earth, clearing the way for the rise of mammals. Suddenly, the stage was set for the Cenozoic era, often referred to as the Age of Mammals, which began around 66 million years ago and continues to this day. During the Paleogene period, which lasted from 66 to 23 million years ago, mammals began to diversify and thrive. Primates, the group that includes lemurs, monkeys, and apes, appeared during the Paleogene, and among them were the ancestors of modern humans. Around 55 million years ago, the first true ape-like creatures appeared in Africa. These apes were the predecessors of both chimpanzees and humans, but the lineage leading to humans eventually split off and began to evolve separately. The genus Homo, which includes modern humans, appeared around 2.8 million years ago in Africa. The first species, Homo habilis, was a small, short-armed hominin with a large brain relative to its body size. H. habilis lived in Africa until about 1.6 million years ago and was succeeded by Homo erectus, who had a larger brain and a more upright posture. Over the next million years, H. erectus spread throughout Africa, Asia, and Europe, where they developed new technologies, including the use of fire. Around 200,000 years ago, a new species of human appeared in Africa, Homo sapiens. Modern humans are characterized by a high degree of intelligence, the ability to speak, and the capacity for abstract thought. They also have a highly developed prefrontal cortex, which allows for advanced cognitive abilities. As Homo sapiens spread across the globe, they encountered other hominin species such as Neanderthals and Denisovans. But as the millennia passed, these species disappeared, leaving modern humans as the only surviving members of the genus Homo. In fact, evidence suggests that Neanderthals and Denisovans interbred with Homo sapiens, leaving some people today with a small percentage of Neanderthal or Denisovan DNA in their genome. So there you have it, a brief overview of the incredible journey from the formation of the Earth to the emergence of modern humans. But what do you think? Is there anything you would have liked to see included, or perhaps some aspects you would like to explore further? Share your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more captivating content. Thanks for watching.